you can spend 10 years of your life just sleeping the wrong way. It might sound absurd, but it is the truth. If you sleep an average of 8 hours a day, you will spend up to 26 years of your life in an unconscious state. And the irony is that most people have no idea what they are actually doing during that time. 1/3 of life passes by in oblivion, leaving behind consequences that no one notices until it is too late. I am telling you this not to make you worry, but to make you face a truth. The quality of your sleep determines the quality of your life. Not as a metaphor, but in the most literal sense, from your immune system, memory, emotions, and ability to learn to your lifespan. In fact, just a lack of sleep can make you behave like someone who is drunk. Tonight, you are not just sleeping. You are stepping into a miraculous journey where your body heals itself, where your mind is reconstructed, and where dreams can save the most wounded emotions within you. The question is, do you know how to step into that journey the right way? I do not call it sleep. I call it the silent overhaul of the body and mind. Every night, when you lay yourself down, what happens is not mere rest. It is nature's grand masterpiece, where your body enters a state of self-healing, restructuring, and rebooting your entire life support system. But the unfortunate truth is, most of us sleep out of habit without understanding how it works, and as a result, we have no idea what we are losing. Sleep, in the words of leading neuroscientist Matthew Walker, is nature's best attempt at immortality. Not meditation, not supplements, not some trendy diet. Sleep is the most powerful key to living healthier, staying sharper, and living longer. But you can only truly access that power when you understand what is happening inside you every night. Imagine this. Every time you close your eyes, a hidden adventure begins. The first stage, light as a gentle touch, is called stage 1. This is the first doorway, where you have just left wakefulness but have not yet fully fallen asleep. It lasts only a few minutes, but it is the critical starting point for the rest of the journey. If there is a small sound or a flash of light, you can wake up easily as if being pushed back from the threshold of dreams. Next comes stage 2, what I call the silent fortress. Here, your body cools down, your heart rate slows, and your brain begins to produce special sleep waves, sleep spindles and K-complexes, like shields that protect sleep from noise while transferring data in your mind to long-term storage. This is where today's memories begin to be encoded, important information is preserved, and the trivial is erased. You begin to turn what you learned into what you remember. Then you sink deeper into stage 3 and stage 4, what I call the regeneration zone. This is the deepest layer, where every system in your body, from immune defenses to muscles and bones, switches into repair mode. Growth hormone is released, energy is replenished, wounds are mended. This is where you are truly brought back to life each night. But if someone wakes you now, you will feel groggy, disoriented, and almost lost. This is not psychological. Your brain is still in the deepest static zone, unable to snap instantly into alertness. And then, the peak of the journey, you enter REM sleep, which I call the dream stage. Your brain lights up with activity, as powerful as when you are awake, but your body, completely locked, your muscles are deliberately paralyzed so you do not physically act out your dreams. This is where creativity flourishes, memories connect, and emotions are resolved. Dreams that seem meaningless are, in fact, an internal mechanism that helps you overcome psychological shocks, heal emotional wounds, and reignite the mental energy drained during the day. Without REM sleep, you cannot learn well, remember deeply, or experience happiness to its fullest. A sleep cycle lasts about 90 minutes. In an 8-hour night, you go through 4 to 5 of these cycles. But here is the crucial part. The early cycles are rich in deep sleep, while the later ones, closer to morning, are rich in REM sleep. This means that if you cut your sleep from 8 hours to 6, you can lose up to 70% of the dreams you need for emotional recovery, memory consolidation, and creativity. So do not think only about enough hours. What you need is the right rhythm and structure so your body and mind can truly recover. Sleep is not a pause. It is an active journey that, if used well, can make you live deeper, create more, and stand stronger each day. So tonight, think again. Are you truly sleeping or just unconscious out of habit? Do you think light only affects your vision? The truth is, it can disrupt your circadian rhythm and break your sleep structure entirely. The next section will reveal why your biological clock is being stolen every day without you realizing it. Did you know that after just 9 hours without sleep, your mental performance is equal to someone over the legal alcohol limit? If you are working while sleep deprived, you are taking a bigger risk than you think. Keep watching to learn how to regain control. There are dreams that are not just fantasies, but profound self-therapy for the mind. And when you lose REM sleep, you are stripping yourself of the chance to emotionally heal. The next section will show you the unexpected importance of dreams. Have you ever set your alarm for 6 a.m., even though you only fell asleep at 2 a.m.? Or forced yourself to go to bed early, only to toss and turn until midnight before drifting off? The problem is not your willpower. The problem lies in something you cannot see, but it controls exactly when you feel sleepy, alert, or so exhausted you can hardly function. Your circadian rhythm. Inside your brain is a biological clock, no bigger than a grain of rice, but more powerful than any device you have ever owned. It is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, located deep in the hypothalamus. This clock not only governs your sleep, but schedules all vital processes: your heart rate, body temperature, hormones, energy levels, and even your mood. It runs on a 24-hour cycle, so precise that if you were completely cut off from light and time cues, it would still keep counting your rhythm moment by moment. Here's the fascinating part. No two clocks are the same. Some people are morning larks, wide awake at sunrise. Others come alive only after 10 p.m. That is not laziness or a lack of discipline. It is your DNA speaking. Modern society favors morning people, which leaves night-oriented individuals feeling out of place, constantly fighting against their own biology. Over time, this can lead to exhaustion, disconnection, and serious circadian misalignment. What decides when you feel sleepy? The answer is a chemical called adenosine. It builds up in your brain from the moment you wake, and the longer you stay awake, the higher it climbs. When it gets heavy enough, you start feeling overwhelming fatigue. That is when your sleep pressure peaks. Only when you sleep long enough, usually 7 to 9 hours, is adenosine fully cleared from your system. If you sleep less or wake too early, leftover adenosine will drag you through the next day in a fog, like carrying a heavy weight on your head. But it is not that simple, because there is also caffeine. What you think of as an energy boost is actually just a trick on adenosine. Caffeine does not remove fatigue. It simply occupies adenosine's receptor sites in your brain, temporarily blocking the signal of sleepiness. When the caffeine wears off, adenosine floods back in like a tidal wave. That is why you crash so hard after a few hours of alertness. And if you consume caffeine after 2 p.m., up to 50% of it can still be in your bloodstream at 9 p.m. This means you are stopping your body from entering deep sleep, all because of an afternoon coffee. Beyond artificial light and caffeine, there is one factor more powerful than any other in setting your biological clock: sunlight. Natural light is the most sophisticated tool for resetting your internal clock each day. When morning light hits your retina, it sends a signal to your brain: the day has begun. Instantly, melatonin, the sleep-inducing hormone, is suppressed, and your body truly wakes up. Only after sunset does melatonin flow back, guiding you into natural sleep. But with blue light from screens, phones, laptops, TVs, you are sending a false signal to your brain. It is still daytime. Stay awake. Just one scroll through TikTok before bed can delay melatonin release by hours, leaving you lying there restless without knowing why. You are not an insomniac. You are trapping your body in a disrupted biological loop. Do you see yourself as a morning person or a night owl? And what are you doing each day to sync your internal clock? Comment below. I want to hear your story. And if this part gave you a light bulb moment, like, share, and subscribe so you do not miss the next chapters. This is not just information, it is how you can reclaim your sleep. What happens in your brain when you dream? And why are dreams, seemingly irrational, the lifeline for your deepest emotional wounds? The next part will open the door to the most mysterious stage of sleep, REM sleep. Just 2 hours less sleep can cost you 70% of the REM sleep you need for emotional recovery and creativity. If you frequently cut your nights short, you are harming your brain in ways you cannot see until it is too late. Sleep is not just rest. It is when your brain converses with memories, soothes pain, and rebuilds your capacity to love. Do not miss the next part, where dreams are revealed as the natural therapy you already possess. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling? A bizarre dream had just happened, illogical, tangled, sometimes overflowing with emotion. Yet when you woke, you felt lighter. Your mind seemed rearranged. Yesterday's worries felt as if someone had untangled them for you. What just happened was not some meaningless game of the subconscious. It was a survival mechanism. Dreams are where the brain heals itself. This is the most magical part of sleep, REM sleep. The final stage, subtle, yet immensely powerful. When you enter REM, your brain is as active as when you are awake. In fact, some areas are even more active. The regions that process emotion, spatial memory, and motor skills are all lit up. Meanwhile, the logic control center, the prefrontal cortex, is switched off. That is why your dreams do not follow normal logic. They do not need to make sense, because they are not meant for you to understand, but for you to feel. In this state, your brain reconstructs stories, sometimes from fragments of memory, sometimes from emotional wounds you have not yet named. It stages them so that you can relive without the original pain. Because during REM sleep, something extraordinary happens. All stress chemicals like noradrenaline disappear. No anxiety, no fear, no pressure. You are allowed to face the pain without being suffocated by it. That is why dreams can heal. But REM does more than heal. It connects. It blends things that seem unrelated to create new insights. A song, a work solution, a breakthrough idea. All of these can emerge simply because you slept enough. In REM, your brain is like a free-spirited artist, using the colors of memory, the strokes of emotion, and a brush of logic switched off to paint new possibilities. This is where creativity is born. And you do not have to be an artist to benefit. You just need to be human, trying to understand yourself, work more effectively, live more deeply. REM will help you do that. The frightening part is, if you do not get enough sleep, especially if you cut off the last 2-3 hours of the night, you are slashing straight into your REM sleep. That means you are robbing yourself of emotional recovery, cutting away creative energy, and missing the chance to refresh your mind. This is why people who sleep too little are often more stressed, impatient, reliant on stimulants, or stuck in negative mental states without knowing why. It is not because they are weak, but because they lack the tool for internal restoration. Dreams are not random. They are a gift that sleep gives to those who respect their own circadian rhythm. And if you have ever felt tangled, wounded, or trapped in an emotional loop, REM sleep may be the place where your mind finds the way out. No machines, no medication, no savior. Just you sleeping enough, consistently and in rhythm. Your brain knows how to do the rest. Remember, when you dream, you are not just imagining, you are healing, you are creating, you are resetting your entire emotional self quietly, profoundly, and absolutely necessarily. It is not that you do not know sleep is important. The problem is this: you think you are sleeping, but in reality, you are drifting through fragments of disrupted sleep. And the reason is not where you think it is. It is not your job. It is not stress. It is the hidden saboteurs inside your own body, sleep disorders you were never taught to recognize. Some people wake every morning with their head thick and heavy, their body weighed down as if crushed by stone. Some lie in bed for an hour unable to drift off, even with the phone off, lights out, and eyes closed. Some are sleeping peacefully, only to jolt awake in the middle of the night, heart pounding, body cold, then sink back into a nameless, restless haze. You might think it is because you are weak, overthinking, or too stressed. But the truth can be more serious. You might be living with a sleep disorder without realizing it. Let's talk about insomnia, the most blatant thief. It does not knock. It enters when you most long for rest. Insomnia is not just being unable to fall asleep. It is being unable to stay asleep in peace. You toss, you turn, and every time you wake, you are hit with the thought, I have to sleep. That fear of not sleeping, becomes a straitjacket that tightens the next night. Insomnia is not just exhausting, it is soul eroding. It is lying in bed, eyes wide open, feeling hollow, as if your own body has betrayed you. Then there is sleepwalking, when sleep is no longer a safe haven, but a strange stage where you are both the actor and a helpless spectator. People with this condition carry out unconscious actions, walking, talking, even eating, with no memory of it upon waking. This is not science fiction. It is a sign your brain is malfunctioning at the border between wakefulness and sleep, between reality and the subconscious. Worse still is narcolepsy, when you lose all control over wakefulness. People with narcolepsy can fall asleep suddenly, in the middle of a conversation, at their desk, even behind the wheel. They also experience sudden muscle weakness triggered by emotions, as if a strong feeling flips a switch and their body shuts down for a few seconds. This is the result of a deficiency in a chemical called orexin, which prevents the brain from maintaining a stable state of alertness. And finally, the most dangerous phantom, fatal familial insomnia, a rare genetic disorder where the sufferer cannot sleep no matter how much they want to. Gradually, they lose the ability to enter sleep at all, then lose memory, lose consciousness, and eventually lose life itself. This is not a distant story. It is a warning. When sleep is no longer an option, life has no foundation to stand on. Do you see? We tend to think sleep will come naturally when we are tired, but the truth is this: sleep is a skill, and if it is not protected, it will be stolen by chemicals, by blue light, by anxiety, by a broken circadian rhythm, and by disorders you have never learned to name. If you feel your body is slowing down, your emotions unstable, your memory fading, or your spirit running on empty without knowing why, do not be so quick to blame yourself. Ask instead, is my sleep being silently sabotaged? Because if it is, you deserve to know, and you deserve to recover. We talk a lot about working smart, about nutrition, exercise, and positive thinking. But there is one thing you cannot positive think your way through if you lose it, and that is truly restorative sleep. It sounds familiar, but stop for a moment and face the truth. If you sleep only 5-6 hours a night and call it fine, you are slowly destroying your body without feeling the damage right away. And that is exactly what makes it so ruthlessly dangerous. You do not need to wait until you collapse to realize you are sleep deprived. Science has made it clear. After just 9 hours without sleep, you function like someone who is legally drunk. You lose focus. Your reflexes slow. Your decision-making becomes less accurate. The most dangerous part is you do not even realize your cognitive abilities have declined. You still work. You still drive. You still answer emails. But every action, your words, your emotions, your reactions, is slowing down, drifting off course, and becoming more likely to cause harm without you seeing it coming. When sleep deprivation becomes chronic, your body switches to autopilot. It activates compensatory mechanisms, pumping up stress hormones like cortisol to keep you going. But the price you pay? A weakened immune system, fading memory, and unstable emotions. You become more irritable, more prone to breakdowns, more likely to slip into anxiety or depression without anyone noticing, including yourself. This is the vicious cycle of modern society, glorifying productivity while silently draining the one thing that keeps us truly alert: deep sleep. Think a 20-minute nap at lunch is enough? Wrong. Short naps can ease the symptoms but cannot replace a full night's sleep. In severe sleep deprivation, you can even fall into microsleep, brief lapses in consciousness lasting just a few seconds, yet enough to cause an accident if you are driving, operating machinery, or caring for someone. Too many fatal crashes, too many costly mistakes have happened simply because the brain shut down for a few seconds in the middle of work. And it is not just the mind, your body takes the hit too. Sleep loss increases the risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, blood sugar imbalance, and uncontrollable weight gain. In men, sleep deprivation can reduce testosterone levels to those of someone 10, 15 years older. In women, it can reduce healthy ovulation capacity by 20%. Worse still, your ability to fight illness drops sharply. Just one night without sleep can reduce the virus-fighting immune cells in your body by up to 70%. Chronic sleep loss alters more than 700 genes, including those that regulate inflammation, cancer risk, and metabolism. And all of this starts with sleeping less than 7 hours a night. Sleep is not a reward after a hard day's work. It is the prerequisite for living and working at your best. You cannot thrive, create, love, or fight if your internal systems are quietly running on empty. You can master your work, you can master your emotions, you can master your future, but if you cannot master your sleep, every other effort is standing on weak, shifting sand. You do not need to do anything complicated to restore it. You just need to start respecting sleep as a core part of your life. No cutting corners, no bargaining, no trade-offs. Because what is being damaged is not just your body today, it is your ability to be fully yourself tomorrow. You could own the most powerful sports car, the sharpest mind, or the bravest heart, but without sleep, all of that will quickly break down. Because sleep is not something you should have, it is something you must have to protect the internal operating system from a silent collapse. Let's start with the heart, the core engine of life. When you sleep well, your body enters deep recovery. Your heart rate gently drops, your blood pressure stabilizes, and stress hormones like cortisol are cleared away. But when you are sleep deprived, all of those markers reverse. Cortisol spikes, blood pressure stays elevated. Your sympathetic nervous system, the one that keeps you in fight or flight mode, is switched on all night. You wake up tense, as if you never rested at all. One night, 2 nights, maybe you will not notice. But over time, the heart muscle wears down, arteries thicken, and your risk of stroke, heart attack, and hypertension skyrockets by up to 200% if you consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night. No warning, no signal, just a single moment is enough for everything to collapse. Next is your metabolism, the system that decides whether you store energy or burn it. When you lack sleep, 2 key hormones are disrupted. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, surges, while leptin, the hormone that signals fullness, is suppressed. The result? You eat more, especially sugar and fat-heavy foods, often without realizing it. Your body switches to storage mode because the brain misreads the situation as prolonged stress. This is why you can train hard, follow a strict diet, and still not lose weight if you are sleep deprived. In fact, just 5 nights of poor sleep can impair your blood sugar regulation to the level of a pre-diabetic without any obvious symptoms. Now look at the reproductive system. Did you know that men who sleep less than 5 hours have testosterone levels up to 15% lower, the same drop you would expect from 10 years of aging. In women, sleep loss reduces follicle-stimulating hormone, disrupts ovulation cycles, and increases the risk of infertility. And it is not just about fertility. Sleep impacts your ability to connect, love, and desire. Because a fatigued body has no energy left to reach out to the world, let alone share intimacy. Then there is the immune system, your first line of defense against illness. Just one night of less than 4 hours sleep slashes your natural killer cells, the ones that destroy cancer cells and viruses, by up to 70%. And with chronic sleep loss, your body becomes an open environment for disease. Not just colds and flu, but cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and hundreds of chronic inflammatory conditions. In fact, researchers have found that sleep deprivation alters the expression of over 700 genes, many of which regulate inflammation, cell repair, aging, and oxidative stress, the very mechanisms that keep you healthy, youthful, and mentally stable. Do you see? By sleeping well, consistently, and enough goddings, you are not just sleeping, you are repairing blood vessels, balancing hormones, managing weight, protecting your genes, boosting immunity, nourishing sex hormones, calming your heart, and renewing your entire self from the inside out. This is not a distant goal. It is a biological power within your reach. But you must choose it. Choose by respecting sleep. Choose by refusing to trade it for temporary gains. And choose by understanding if sleep is sacrificed, everything else becomes the price you will pay, sooner or later. Have you ever dreamed of running away from something? Or suddenly being reunited with someone who left long ago? Or seen things so strange that you woke up just to ask yourself, why did I dream that? We often treat dreams as harmless, a joke of the subconscious. But the truth goes much deeper. Dreams are how your mind speaks to itself in a pure and uncontrolled state. When you dream, you are not just recreating images, you are reorganizing emotions, reconnecting memories, and restoring the inner balance that daytime life has disrupted. The REM stage, rapid eye movement, is the stage for your most vivid dreams. In this state, your brain is not resting. It lights up with activity, with some areas even more active than when you are awake. The emotional centers are amplified, the memory storage regions glow, and the logic control center is switched off. The result is that you step into a world without rules, where past, present, and future blend together, where the irrational becomes logical, where pain is replayed, but no longer able to break you. That is why REM sleep is often described as a nightly, natural therapy session for the mind. In this state, your brain does not just recall memories, it transforms them. It takes emotionally charged events from the day, arguments, disappointments, hurts, pressures, and expectations, and untangles them in a way only REM can. Remarkably, during this stage, there is a complete absence of noradrenaline, the chemical tied to the stress response. This means you are revisiting your pain in a safe environment, with no anxiety, no fear, no resistance. You can look at the problem from the outside as a spectator, and that is what helps you finally let go. REM sleep does not stop at healing. It connects in extraordinary ways. It gathers scattered bits of knowledge, forgotten experiences, emotions you thought were gone, and links them into a new network where ideas are born. You wake from a bizarre dream, but suddenly you solve a problem. Find the answer to a work challenge. See something clearly that you could not grasp in daylight. That is not magic. It is the refined work of your brain when given enough time to enter and complete a full REM cycle. The harsh truth is most of us never fully reach that stage because dreams do not arrive the moment you lie down. They appear most abundantly in the later sleep cycles, especially in the last 2 hours of the night. And if you regularly wake up early, go to bed late, or wake in the night from phone light, noise, or caffeine still in your bloodstream, you are stealing from yourself those precious dreams. Not just losing sleep, but losing the very mechanism for emotional recovery, creativity, memory processing, and the power to heal without anyone touching you. So next time you wake in the middle of a strange dream, do not dismiss it. Know that it may be your mind working for hours to heal something inside you, something you cannot name, but it is there, waiting to be heard. And the beautiful thing is, you do not need to fully understand the dream to receive its power. You just need to respect it by allowing yourself to sleep enough every night. You can do everything right, turn off the lights early, put your phone away, lie still, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and still not fall asleep. Or you sleep, but wake up in the morning feeling drained, your head heavy, your spirit sluggish, and then you start doubting yourself. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I'm just mentally weak. The problem might not be you, but something quietly sabotaging your sleep without you realizing it. These are sleep disorders, silent traitors that make you believe you are sleeping when the restoration process is not happening at all. Sleep disorders are not always obvious. They do not always show up as insomnia or nightmares. Sometimes they are nights where you sleep but feel like you never slept. Mornings where your body feels as if it has just run a marathon and you cannot explain why. That is when you need to name each culprit so you know exactly what you are facing. First is insomnia, chronic sleeplessness. Do not think only stressed people suffer from it. In fact, the more you try to sleep, the more you force yourself to relax, the more you hope to drift off quickly, the more alert your brain becomes. Insomnia is a vicious loop of anxiety, expectation, and the fear of failing to sleep. You lie there, waiting for sleep, like waiting for an ex who once hurt you, hopeful yet afraid of being rejected again. Each restless night chips away at your inner peace, not just physically, but mentally.
Next is sleepwalking. It may sound like fiction, but it is more common than you think, especially among children and teenagers. When you sleepwalk, your body is active while your brain is not fully awake. You may talk, walk, even perform seemingly intentional actions, yet remember nothing when you wake. It is a strange disconnection between the body and the mind, and a clear sign that your sleep cycles are seriously disrupted.
A more dangerous disorder is narcolepsy, the inability to control wakefulness. People with narcolepsy can fall asleep at any moment, in the middle of a meeting, while eating, even while driving. Their bodies cannot distinguish when to stay awake and when to sleep because their brains have lost the ability to produce orexin, the neurotransmitter that keeps you alert. They are not lazy, and they are not undisciplined. They have simply lost control. And at the extreme end is fatal familial insomnia, a rare genetic disorder that kills. In this condition, the ability to sleep is slowly lost, leading to memory loss, neurological breakdown, physical collapse, and no one can save the person. When sleep disappears completely, life has nothing left to hold on to. It is nature's final warning. Sleep is not optional. It is the foundation of existence. These disorders are not just illnesses. They are proof that sleep, a natural right, can be stolen if you do not protect it. And protection begins with awareness. No underestimating, no ignoring, no silently enduring just because you think, I'm probably not doing well enough. If you have ever woken tired despite sleeping, ever lain awake for hours unable to drift off, ever felt yourself drifting through life cycles, remember, you are not crazy, not weak, not wrong. You may just need to understand your sleep better. Because once you know, you can reclaim what you have lost. And when sleep is restored the right way, it can give you back more than you ever imagined. People often ask, how do I sleep well? But the truth is, sleep is not an on-off switch. It is a journey that needs to be prepared for the way you would prepare for an important performance, a big game, or a meaningful meeting. If you think that simply closing your eyes will let your body handle the rest, you may be underestimating one of the most complex and sophisticated life mechanisms humans possess. Sleep must be nurtured, guided, and protected from both the outside and the inside. And that begins with 5 core pillars: nutrition, timing, light, space, and you. The first pillar, nutrition and stimulants. Your body cannot fully rest if your digestive system is still working overtime like a midnight factory. A heavy meal, especially rich or spicy food, can leave you bloated, uncomfortable, and fragment your sleep. Caffeine, even just 1 cup in the afternoon, can still linger in your bloodstream late into the night. It quietly binds to adenosine receptors in the brain, tricking your body into thinking it is still alert. Alcohol works the same way. While it may make you feel drowsy, it disrupts the REM stage, leaving you to wake up with a hollow feeling, as if you missed something important. If you truly want deep sleep, start by removing the things that keep your body awake. The second pillar, timing, your circadian rhythm. Your body loves consistency. If you go to bed at 10 p.m. today and 1 a.m. tomorrow, your biological clock no longer knows what is day and what is night. As a result, hormones are released at the wrong times, melatonin is delayed, and you lose your natural sense of sleepiness. Choose a fixed bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. This is how you rebuild the foundation for automatic, effortless sleep. The third pillar, light, your guide or your enemy. Morning sunlight is the clearest signal to wake your body up, but blue light from screens at night is one of the most silent destroyers of sleep. It delays melatonin release and keeps your brain on alert. Limit device use after 9 p.m., turn on blue light filters. Or better yet, replace it with warm, gentle lighting, a lullaby for your circadian rhythm. The fourth pillar, space, your sleep environment. Your bedroom is not for working, eating, or entertainment. It is a sacred space for rest and recovery. Keep it quiet, cool, and completely dark. A supportive pillow, a mattress that keeps you from tossing and turning, and blackout curtains are all investments in your quality of life. Give your brain a clear signal. When I enter this room, the only mission is sleep. And the final pillar, you, your body, mind, and habits. You cannot sleep well if your mind is still racing with thoughts, deadlines, and worries. Create a bedtime ritual, a light book, calming music, a cup of caffeine, free tea, or a few minutes of deep breathing. Do not force yourself to sleep. Invite it with full presence and respect. Sleep does not come to the tense. It comes to those who know how to let go at the right moment. You cannot control sleep through willpower, but you can prepare a clear, quiet, safe path for it to find you. And if you do it right, sleep will no longer be just the end of a day. It will become the foundation for a better version of you tomorrow.
There is a truth most people overlook. Quality sleep does not come from luck, good genes, or chance. It comes from a system designed, built, tested, and refined day by day. And if you want to wake up with full energy, mental clarity, and emotional stability, you cannot let your sleep depend on inspiration. You must turn it into a process, a strategy, a proactive life habit, just like caring for your teeth, managing your work, or training your body.
The problem is not sleeping more, but sleeping more strategically. That strategy revolves around 5 areas, 5 levers that can completely transform your sleep quality if you use them the right way. Nutrition, timing, light, space, and personal habits. This is not generic advice. This is how I and millions of others reclaim the right to own our sleep. First, nutrition. Start with something that seems small. Stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. A digestive system running at full speed will send alert signals to your entire nervous system. And do not let caffeine or alcohol interfere with your sleep, even a little in the afternoon. Their effects do not just linger in your blood, they also disrupt deep sleep and REM, the most valuable parts of the night. Good sleep starts with how you treat your body even before you lie down. Second, timing is critical. Your biological clock always wants to work in rhythm. If you change your bedtime every day, your body will not know when to start winding down. And if you borrow sleep on weekdays and try to pay it back on weekends, you are damaging your hormone cycles and circadian rhythm. Choose a bedtime and treat it like an unmissable appointment. Third, light. Light is the most powerful tool for programming your brain. Daylight is your natural wake-up call. Blue light at night is a silent enemy. Every time you pick up your phone at 1:00 p.m., you are sending a false signal. It's still daytime. No need to sleep. Use light wisely. Embrace the morning sun. Dim the lights in the evening, and let your brain know night has arrived. It's time to rest. Fourth, your sleep space. This does not have to be a spa, but it must be a safe place for sleep. Cool, dark, quiet, and free from distractions. When you step into your bedroom, your brain should understand there is nothing left to worry about, nothing to react to, only you and restoration. And finally, you, your habits, choices, and personal commitment. No one can sleep for you. No book, video, or app can do it for you. But if you create a ritual, 30 minutes of unwinding before bed, putting your phone away, breathing, reading, taking a warm shower, you are sending a strong message. I respect my sleep, and your body will respond. Sleep will come regularly, fully, as a natural part of you. Do not wait until your health collapses, your memory fades, or your emotions spiral out of control. Start tonight, step by step, change by change. Sleep does not ask you to be perfect. It only needs you to be consistent, steady, and committed enough to create a system that nurtures dreams and restores life. We can control very few things in this life, but sleep, something that seems small and quiet, is one of the rare things you can consciously protect. And when you do it the right way, life begins to change. Not loudly, not for show, but so deeply that you will wonder, why didn't I start sooner? Allow yourself to sleep like someone who truly deserves restoration. Let each night be a journey of healing, no longer a battle. Because a sleep that is enough, deep, and in rhythm does more than refresh your body. It lifts your spirit, soothes your emotions, and rekindles the light you thought had faded. Thank you for staying until the very end. Thank you for giving your time, your attention, and above all, your kindness to yourself. I hope what you have just heard is not just information, but the beginning of a new journey. One where you love yourself more, listen to your body more, and live more mindfully each day.
May you always sleep well, always be healthy, and always be at peace, both in your sleep and in your life.